Joined now by Ben Shapiro, editor-in-chief at dailywire.com, who wrote about this today, and Ari Fleischer, former White House press secretary and a Fox News contributor. Gentlemen, great to have both of you with us today. Ben, you know, obviously the underlying story here is ugly. It does not look good. And the more we learned about it today and went through some of these blogs and the information that's out there, it's a big fall for Rob Porter. There's no doubt. He helped write the State of the Union just a few days ago, and now he's lost his job. Your thoughts?
Well, no question. It's a major fall for him, but it seems like a fall that is well deserved from the credibility of the allegations. And of course, you've got multiple allegations from multiple different women. You have a police action that was filed against a temporary restraining order. The real question here is, what did John Kelly know? And even if he only knew some of the allegation, why would he allow Rob Porter to get so close to the president? That really is the question to me, because it's clear to me that from what Kelly has said, what the administration has said, he didn't, for example, have access to the photo of the ex-wife who was hit in the face. And once that came out, he changed his story. But when you're in doubt, you got to keep the president safe from the impact of having someone around him who's going to take a fall like this. And it just seems irresponsible to me, if you know anything about these stories, to allow anyone with those allegations floating around about them to be that close to the president. It wounds the president, puts the president in a vulnerable position.
You know, it's tricky. And obviously the way that Ben presents it, Ari, you know, is from the national security perspective, which is absolutely a valid question to ask here. You know, from the personal side, when you read the account of his first wife, she talks about the fact that everyone loved Rob, that everybody always told her how lucky she was that she was married to him, that he was such a great guy. This is clearly somebody who had a pretty good Jekyll and Hyde routine going.
Yeah. And I think that's what explains why people at the White House said what they said about him. Look, this is human nature. It has nothing to do with whether you work at the White House or work in a school or wherever you are. If there is somebody that you know, you admire, you like, you say that. And it's reflected in what you think, because that's how they behave at the office. They may have a totally separate way of acting when they go home, and perhaps that's what the case is here. Although in fairness to Rob Porter, he's denied this, and that is important. We do have to have two sides. And I think that would explain it then, when people could be so shocked that he's such a great guy at the office, we don't know what he's like at home. And then you have to be precise in your language. When you say, was he aware of this? What exactly is this? Is it that there's a picture of him with a wife who has a black eye? Or is it there are allegations of difficulties in a marriage and we don't know all the facts yet? This is where you just have to let the investigators really tell you, what do you know? What was precisely conveyed and said?
Yeah. Let's play a little bit of the news conference today at the White House, talking about how they handled it.
I think it's fair to say that you know, we all could have done better over the last few hours or last few days in dealing with this situation.
I mean, the White House accepting some blame there, Ben.
Well, I mean, I think that's exactly the right move. And it's one of the rare times I've seen the White House actually say, listen, we may have made a mistake here. You're going to buy an awful lot of credibility from the press and from the public when you say, listen, we didn't have all the information. As we got all the information, it became clear that we jumped the gun on this. And that obviously should have been their first response, is we're gathering all the information. These allegations are obviously very disturbing. I think the reason that John Kelly is in some trouble here is because he made such a strong defense of Rob Porter and then had to go back on it. But acknowledging when you make mistakes, you know, a lot of people in politics see that as a weakness. I think that's actually a strength when it comes to the PR efforts for the Trump White House.
But Ben, you know, in terms of the media reaction, there has been a real pile on General Kelly for what he said about DACA recipients earlier this week, that if they hadn't signed up, you know, maybe they were too lazy to sign up for the program. It feels like there's some long knives out for him.
It does feel like that. It feels like there's a feeling that John Kelly, if he's the guy who's protecting the president and if he's the guy who's not holding the president back, I think the press wanted Kelly to be the guy who was sort of holding a leash on Trump. And of course, that's not Kelly's job. Kelly's job is to organize the White House in a better way. It feels like there's some vulnerability for Kelly now, and the press is jumping on it because they'd like to see the White House return to something more chaotic as it was earlier before Kelly sort of took the reins here.